chapter 27. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, came this word unto Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus saith the Lord to me, Make you bands and bars, and put them upon your neck, and send them to the king of Edom, and to the king of Moab, and to the king of the children of Ammon, to the king of Tyre, and to the king of Zidon, by the hand of the messengers that come to Jerusalem unto Zedekiah king of Judah. And give them a charge unto their masters, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Thus shall you say unto your masters, I have made the earth, the man and the beast that are upon the face of the earth, by my great power and my outstretched arm, and I give it unto whom it seemeth right unto me. And now have I given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and the beast of the field also I given him to serve him, and all the nations shall serve him, and his son and his son's sons, until the time of his own land come. And then many nations and great kings shall make him their bondman. And it shall come to pass that the nation and the kingdom which shall not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation will I visit, saith the Lord, with the sword and with the famine and the pestilence, until I have consumed them by his hand. But as for you, hearken you not to your prophets, nor to your diviners, nor to your dreamers, nor to your dreams, nor to your soothsayers, nor to your sorcerers that speak unto you, saying, You shall not serve the king of Babylon. For they prophesy a lie unto you, to remove you far from your land, and that I should drive you out, and you should perish. But the nation that shall bring their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, and serve him, that nation will I let remain in their own land, saith the Lord, and they shall till it, and dwell therein. And I spoke to Zedekiah king of Judah according to all these words, saying, Bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon, and serve him and his people, and live. Why will you die, you and your people, by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence, as the Lord has spoken concerning the nation that will not serve the king of Babylon? And hearken not unto the words of the prophets that speak unto you, saying, You shall not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you. For I have not sent them, saith the Lord, and they prophesy falsely in my name, that I might drive you out, and that you might perish, you and the prophets that prophesy unto you. Also I spoke to the priest and to all his people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Hearken not to the words of your prophets that prophesy unto you, saying, Behold, the vessels of the Lord's house shall now shortly be brought back from Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you. Hearken not unto them. Serve the king of Babylon and live. Wherefore should this city become desolate? But if they be prophets, and if the word of the Lord be with them, let them now make intercession to the Lord of hosts, that the vessels which are left in the house of the Lord, and in the house of the king of Judah, and at Jerusalem, go not to Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, concerning the pillars, and concerning the sea, and concerning the bases, and concerning the residue of the vessels that remain in this city, which Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, took not, when he carried away captive Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, from Jerusalem to Babylon, and all the nobles of Judah and Jerusalem. Yes, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, concerning the vessels that remain in the house of the Lord, and in the house of the king of Judah, and at Jerusalem, they shall be carried to Babylon, and there shall they be until the day that I remember them, saith the Lord, and bring them up, and restore them to this place. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Now in yesterday, this time period of the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, this would be when these words would come to Jeremiah, and he just went down, he stood in the house of the king, and he's declared these words of that evil was coming. Turn from your evil, return to the law of God, because this is why this great judgment is coming upon this place. God's going to make this place like Shiloh, and nobody would listen. They was going to try to kill Jeremiah, and he was saved. He was spared, but these at that time is when this same word come to God, or come from God. This same word come to Jeremiah from God, and we're going to pick it up in verse 1. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, came this word unto Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, so once again, about that same period of time, thus saith the Lord to me, make you bands and bars and put them upon your neck. And this would be when the word came to Jeremiah that God was going to bring the whole land under the yoke, or under the taskmaster of Babylon, even Nebuchadnezzar himself. And this word at that time is when it came. And we're going to find out, see, but this, he's going to send these to, we'll just see in verse 3, and send them to king of Edom, and the king of Moab, and to the king of the children of Ammon, and to the king of Tyre, and to the king of Zidon, and by the hand of the messengers that come to Jerusalem, unto Zedekiah the king of Judah. And these would be, when he sent these now to all these kings, he put these yokes, he made these yokes of bands and bars. That's what these bands and bars were. These yokes Jeremiah made, like you was going to carry something on your shoulder. And what they was going to carry was the burdens that's put upon them. They was going to carry the judgment. They was going to carry the load even of another king. God was sending another king into the land. This is a very similar situation that went on when Joshua came into the land. See, he came in to conquer the nations that was there. See, it wasn't for their righteousness, but for the transgressions of the nations that was there. See, very similar situation. Now we got the king of Babylon. He's going to come in, and he's going to conquer this land and all these lands, not for his righteousness, but for the transgressions of these nations that he conquers. Then later on, we're going to get to prophecy C also in this chapter. Not only of that, but see, we're going to get the prophecies of when Babylon transgresses, and he got to send nations in. They're going to conquer them. See, that's what, it's a circle, and it just keeps going around and around. And he sent these yokes to the king of Edom, those that show the blood in the flesh, those that we easily see the blood, the sin in the flesh, and the king of Moab. Moab is him that comes from his father. He was born from an incestual relationship. And the king of the children of the nations. And Ammon means the nations, or the peoples. And the king of Tyre. Tyre is the rock. Tyre is the rock. It was a great merchant city even. And king of Zidon. Zidon is the fishers. The fishers, this place of fishermen. Even those that fish for the souls of men. And the messengers that come to Jerusalem unto Zedekiah the king of Judah. And this is when the prophecies was taking place, though, was in the beginning of Jehoiakim is when this word come to Jeremiah. But we'll see, he sends it to Zedekiah, and Zedekiah wouldn't be king for a little while later. So these prophecies Jeremiah is telling Zedekiah, as we're going to find out, that, look, I've been prophesying this now for 20 years almost. 4, and give them a charge unto their masters, saying, thus saith the Lord of the host, the God of Israel, thus shalt you say unto your masters. So Jeremiah has told these messengers now. There's messengers that would come from the king. It's like was mail carriers back then. They would carry the messages and stuff around to the land. And these messengers would come and carry the messages back to these other kings. And so daily, or at the appointed times when the messengers would come, Jeremiah was instructed to tell each one of them to take this message back to your master. Thus saith the Lord, the God of hosts, thus shalt you say unto your masters. So tell them, verse 5, I have made the earth, the man, and the beast that are upon the face of the earth, by my great power and by my outstretched arm, and I give it unto whom it seems right unto me. God made the earth. God made man. God made the beast. God set up the kingdoms. See, God did this by his great power, by his outstretched arm, and calls them, the whole host, by name. See, God done this by his strength, by his power, and he declares it. 6. And now I have given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and the beast of the field also have I given to serve him. So you tell these messengers, you tell them to go back and tell all these kings of all these lands that I did this, saith the Lord. I have given all these lands into the hand of the prophet that protects the crown. He's the king of confusion. He's the servant of God. The beasts of the field, those that lay in wait, those that are ready to tear, those that devour, he's given them to serve this king of Babylon. 7. And all the nations shall serve him, and his son, and his son's sons, until the time of his own land come. And then many nations and great kings shall make their own bondmen. See, it's for a time, an appointed season, because it's just a circle that goes around. See, God sets up who he wants to set up. God causes to rule who he wants to rule, and God recompenses through this rulership every man his just reward, and you are right where you deserve to be according to God, because you have turned from the law of God. See, that's what it's been about from the beginning. God has sent them in because you have turned from the Lord your God. You do not keep the law. You do not pour out the word. You do not teach. You hold it in and protect it like it's only good for you. And this is what we get. 8. And it shall come to pass that the nation and the kingdom which will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation will I visit, saith the Lord, with the sword, and with the famine, and with the pestilence, till I have consumed them by his hand. With the sword, this is going to be with the law of God, and with the famine, starving for the word of God, and the pestilence, even the words, they go forth to devour. That's what this pestilence is. Nebuchadnezzar, once again, the prophet that protects the crown, he is the king of confusion. 9. But as for you, hearken you not to your prophets, nor to your diviners, nor to your dreamers, nor to your dreams, nor to your soothsayers, nor to your sorcerers, that speak unto you, saying, you shall not serve the king of Babylon. But as for you, and he was speaking to these kings, and we're going to find out to all the people, don't listen to the prophets. See, don't listen to your diviners, these ones who are supposedly can rightfully divide the word of God. These ones are supposed to have understanding, in other words. Nor to your dreams, these night dreams you have, these illusions, because you think you've been exalted somehow, or have tried to exalt yourself. Nor to your soothsayers. These are the ones that's always got a comforting word to say. They've always got something. It's peace, 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 forever. Nor to your sorcerers, these that look into the heavens and try to divine by the stars and the signs and all these things, that speak unto you, saying, you shall not serve the king of Babylon. Don't listen to these ones that's going to tell you, hey, you ain't going to serve the king of Babylon. You ain't confused. You've got it going on. You know everything. This is all you have to know. This is all you need to know, and it's good to go. You ain't supposed to have none of these in the land anyway, but there they are. 10. For they prophesy a lie unto you to remove you. For they prophesy a lie unto you to remove you far from your land, and that I should drive you out, and that you should perish. For this was the purpose. See, they wanted to prophesy lies, tell the people lies, instead of just tell them the truth from the beginning. See, that all might have understanding and all might turn from their wickedness, from their evilness, that God should save the city. 11. But the nation that shall bring their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, and serve him, that nation will I let remain in their own land, saith the Lord, and they shall till it, and dwell therein. So God's going to let those remain right there that will serve the king of Babylon, and they will serve the king of Babylon. This was that great cup of fury, that great cup of wrath God had Jeremiah to pass around, and every nation of the earth drank it, and the whole earth drank it, and every inhabitant thereof drank of the king's cup, even this cup of confusion. As we're going to find out, that's what it was. It's punishment. It's judgment. And you stand right where you're at. 12. And I spoke to Zedekiah, king of Judah, according to all these words, saying, bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon, and serve him and his people, and live. And Jeremiah was telling him, look, I've been saying this same thing for years. It's the same thing. The prophets have been coming before and often. There's nothing changed. But now, go out to the king of Babylon and serve him and live. And we're going to find out this is exactly what he was telling Zedekiah, almost to the end. Because we're a little backwards sometimes in the prophecies here, because see, we're going to find out that's what the 2 baskets of figs was about. See, God's going to make an example. God's making an example here. He done said Jeconiah, he's the one who God has established. He's the son of Jehoiakim, that one which God stood up. He's done sent him into Babylon, into confusion. And now he's going to make Zedekiah's heart hard, turn him away. Why? So he can punish and show God does these things. God has prepared it. 13. Why will you die, you and your people, by the sword and by the famine and by the pestilence, as the Lord has spoken concerning the nation that will not serve the king of Babylon? He's telling Zedekiah, why are you going to kill yourself and all these people? God said, go out and serve the king of Babylon. 14. Hearken not unto the words of the prophets that speak unto you, saying, you shall not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you. Don't listen to all these ones that, they say they have all the understanding of God. They say you ain't going to be taken over. You ain't in confusion. You're good to go. 15. For I have not sent them, saith the Lord, and they prophesy falsely in my name, that I might drive you out, and that you might perish, you and the prophets that prophesy unto you. See, God has done this for a purpose. God's going to show his wrath, his anger, even, see, upon Zedekiah, using him as an example. And Zedekiah is the justice of God, that judgment of God. 16. Also I spoke to the priest and to this people, saying, thus saith the Lord, hearken not to the words of your prophets that prophesy unto you, saying, behold, the vessels of the Lord's house shall now shortly be brought back from Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you. This is the 3rd time. They prophesy a lie unto you. Don't listen to these prophets and these priests. Hearken not to the words of your prophets, saying, these vessels of the Lord's house shall shortly be brought back from Babylon. That's what they was trying to tell him. Oh, it's all coming back soon. It's all coming back soon, because peace is going to be in this city. That's what they kept saying. That was the lie Jeremiah was trying to tell them. They're lying. Hearken not, 17, unto them. Serve the king of Babylon and live. Why should this city become desolate? And Jeremiah was trying to tell them to go out, go to the king of Babylon, stay alive. Because see, this is a judgment. God's coming. He's going to return. But they wouldn't listen. Not the ones there in Jerusalem, this place of peaceful teachings. 18. But if they be prophets, and if the word of the Lord be with them, let them now make intercession to the Lord of hosts, that the vessels which are left in the house of the Lord, and the house of the king of Judah, and to Jerusalem, go not to Babylon. So now if they be prophets, and they be priests, and they have all the understanding of God, let them make intercession to the Lord of hosts. Let them now go to the Lord of hosts and pray and see if they can stop this. All the vessels being carried off, all these, and these vessels here just means all the things which are left in the house of the Lord, all these things, and in the house of the king of Judah, and to Jerusalem, go not to Babylon. And what are all these things? These are all the wealth that they had left, everything that was left that they hadn't taken already, because we'll see for generations now, it's documented in Kings, they had been taxing the people, exacting upon the people, taking everything they could to save the house of the king, paying the taxation and everything the king of Babylon said you will pay. They had to pay, and they exacted upon the people, and they took it from them. They caused the whole land to suffer because of the ignorance, because they would not teach the truth. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, concerning the pillars, and concerning the sea, concerning the bases, and concerning the residue of the vessels that remain in this city. So concerning all these things that are left, these pillars, we remember these two giant pillars that Solomon had made. Concerning the sea, this is where they would wash. Concerning the bases, that's what the sea set on. And concerning the residue of the vessels that remain in the city. So concerning all these things that are left in this city, and this city we're talking about is Jerusalem, that place of peaceful teachings. God's been making an example of this place for years and years, and he's going to keep continuing doing it till somebody understands. 20, which Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, took not when he carried away captive Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, from Jerusalem to Babylon, and to all the nobles of Judah and Jerusalem. Which Nebuchadnezzar, this one God sent, he's the servant of God, he's the king of Babylon. He's done come and took Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim. Jeconiah, this one God established. The son of Jehoiakim, the one God stood up. They're the king of praisings. He's done taken them from Jerusalem, this place of peaceful teachings, and he's carried them off to Babylon, off to confusion, and all the nobles of Judah, all the ones. Remember, he carried off the smiths, the carpenters, priests, and prophets, and he left these few in the land. Of course, they went on to set themselves up and give themselves a high seat there. But all the nobles are done gone, these ones that was in charge. See, and the king of Babylon took Mattaniah, changed his name to Zedekiah, and made him king. See, and caused him to tax the people as well. But we'll see, Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. And that's when all this trouble started. (21) Yes, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, concerning the vessels that remain in the house of the Lord, and in the house of the king of Judah, and at Jerusalem. But this is what's going to happen concerning these vessels, concerning these things that remain in the house of the Lord, and in the house of the king of Judah. See, because God's making an example. Nobody's immune to the law of God. Nobody. Not the king of Judah, not the priest himself, nor the people, nor anybody, not the king of Babylon. We're going to find out too. See, his day's going to come too. God may have delivered it over to his son and his son's sons. See, until his time come. Until his time come. But that's what happens. Till his time comes. See, because it's just a circle that goes around. What goes up must come down. God took you to the top of the mountain. He's going to throw you down. See, that's the example God's been made. Why? Well, you've turned from the law of God. You sinned. You transgressed the everlasting covenant. You trespass the courts of the Lord. So turn and return. Let's move on to chapter 28.